Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, big news today. We knew about the Floyd Mayweather fight on December 9th, but we didn't necessarily know what the undercard was going to be. Now, we actually found out about this yesterday, but we were told not to share this information with anybody or any of our viewers. But now that Dan Rafael has made this public, we can go ahead and speak to it. Now, we know that Floyd was supposed to be fighting on December 9th, and Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia were also on those cards, but we didn't know who the opponents were going to be. Now we know it will be Keith Thurman versus Imantas Stanionis, and Danny Garcia will face Israelandi Lara. So we know that these fights have been on the, we know at least the Danny Garcia fight has been talked about for a very long time. They were actually supposed to fight earlier in the year, and we thought that was a good fight for Danny if he was trying to go up to 160 and win a title. And now it's being, I won't say it's official, but at least someone is reporting it. And I'm actually a little bit surprised in terms of Keith Thurman and his willingness to get into the ring with Imantas Stanionis. I think that is a hell of a fight, and I'm definitely interested in seeing it. Now, personally, I had Stanionis being victorious over Keith Thurman when we talked about this in another one of our videos, and I believe I'm going to stand on that. But I will get the opportunity to sit down and look at some of the fights and see how they match up. But I really like that matchup, Jay. I don't know if he actually mentioned anything about Floyd Mayweather and who he may be facing. That's information that we had not heard as of yesterday. Yeah. But, Jay, what's your thoughts on this? Terrific card on December 9th, and I think, quite frankly, it hurts Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis on the same day. But hopefully somehow we'll be able to watch both of the cards. I don't know what the timing is going to be of both of those cards, but wow, that's going to be interesting. Jay, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, I think both of them will probably be in Vegas too. No, actually, no, sorry, not Vegas. They'll both be on Pacific time frame. So they'll both one be in San Francisco with the Devin Haney, and this one be in Vegas 9 times out of 10. I'm cool with the matchup, Keith and Stanionis. I think that's a real good matchup. Both of them been out of the ring for about 16 months. The interesting one is Danny Garcia and Lara. I know that I've been cooking for a little while. They had mentioned that Danny really wanted that fight. We know Lara's 40 or pushing 40, and Danny hasn't fought since he beat Jose Benavidez in his only match step up at 154. And this is supposed to be for the 160-pound belt that Lara has. But it had rumored back in the day that it'll be a catch weight of 155 for the 160 title. So I was like, I don't like that, but I'll watch it because I think it'll be an interesting matchup between the two. Although Lara hasn't fought in a long time neither on that. But like to your point, it is going to do some damage to the Devin Haney card for sure. Because I've seen that. We've seen that card. That card came out. The undercard came out yesterday, and it was just like, It's not any real names on there, any heavy hitters on that one. I know they asked Devin about it. Devin was like, well, yeah, Floyd can do whatever he want to do, but if you want to see some real fighting, it's going to be on this side, because he thought that was going to be the only fight on that card. Now, knowing that it's going to be speculated to be Keith Thurman versus Stanionis and Garcia versus Lara, who knows who else might be on that card, it could definitely damage that. It's definitely going to damage that Devin Haney Regis Prograis fight. But I'm cool with seeing both of these. At least we have options. Definitely gonna watch both of them either way. I'll be flipping back between the two, so I'm excited for this one. And then they also noted Dan Rafael also said that there's a non-pay-per-view card on December 16th. To my understanding, they were already done with all those non-pay-per-view cards, but he's saying that's going to be another one. The last one going to be on December 16th, so that'll be interesting to see who's on that one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I thought I read something somewhere where they said that they were basically done as well. Now, here's what I want to say, because we see all the time where people are talking about the best fights are not being made in the sport, and a lot of the blame is pointed toward the PBC, which it makes absolutely no sense to me. Premier Boxing Champions is putting out by far the best boxing content that we've seen. I mean, they've been doing it for the last several years. I mean, that's just is what it is. But this year specifically and especially, PBC has just literally dominated the landscape in terms of quality cards, quality matchups, with exciting fights. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people are going to be in the comment section and say, well, Canelo and Jermell Charlo really wasn't a great fight. And I understand that. And people are going to say Errol and Terrence Crawford was one-sided. And I understand that. But the fact remains is this. When you think about the sport of boxing, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, that was the biggest fight that can be made. And they brought you that. They're not responsible for the outcome of the fight, period.
Yeah.
Jermell Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez, that's one that regardless if, and I'm personally, I'm on record as saying nobody really asked for that fight. And I think you're on record as saying that as well. So that's true. But it's still two of the bigger names in the sport, period, which means it's a show. And that's what we need in the sport of boxing, period. So that's PBC putting on the biggest and best fights, period. So this is just, so this is just a continuation. And think about it. And they got David Benavidez versus Boo Boo Andre, not to mention that it's being said that Jaron Ennis will be on the undercard of that fight. So, bro, it's just a continuation of dominance relative to PBC, and you just gotta give them their props, give them their credit. Don't sit up and try to discredit everything that PBC is doing, Al Heyman and stuff like that. Give them their props because they're giving you the absolute best content. And if you are sitting up here and saying that you have an issue with this, then quite frankly, you're a hater. And that's my stance on it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I never got the whole thing where people just want to see one company go out of business or anything like that and blaming just one side altogether and then crying all this stuff here. But like you said, all the fights that happened this year, the vast majority of them, the ones that were real key hits, key fights, were PBC. Don't forget David Benavidez and Caleb Plant fought earlier this year. So, I mean, that was another good one. So, I mean, we've had a lot of fights, and we've all said, pretty much damn near everyone said this year, and just in general, has been probably the best year of boxing that we've seen ever. If not, you got to point me out one that had a better year where we just had matchup after matchup. I mean, hell, even Devin and Loma fighting this year, although on PBC, it was just it was a stellar year for boxing, but for people to be mad, be laughing. Some people were laughing, happy that PBC or Showtime's removed, no longer being having a boxing or sports in general. That's just crazy to me on that. I'm just like, nah. I mean, Dan Rafael talked about it, how, no one really should be celebrating. Just like when HBO went out, I wasn't happy about that at all. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, they're celebrating now. I think there's a strong possibility that they may be hating in the future. Put it like that. You guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to this news. Big fight from the PBC. Danny Garcia versus Israel Lara. We got Keith Thurman versus Imantas Stanionis and Floyd on that card as well. I love Floyd, so this is definitely one I'll end up paying for. So you guys tell us what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast on Sports Media, and we are